This organized chaos video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Hello. It's a little stealth stream going on here. Got my friends Dane, Charles, and Ryan here. How you guys doing?
I ain't your friend.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, I don't know when you updated that status. I thought we just like made content together and shit.
Yeah, no. I have some acquaintances joining us.
What we do is business.
I've come to regard you as someone I've met.
I once met you. So Last of Us episode 3 came out, and yeah, I thought it'd be fun to look at some of the cringe content. I meant to do this earlier, but I wasn't feeling well, and even now I'm not great. But I thought, let's come in and do a short stream, kind of a stealth stream. So many people watching right now. We got 4 people, guys. We're killing it.
Yeah, we can bullshit a minute until we give people a minute to show up if you want.
Sure.
I'm curious what the hubbub is all about. Why is it this episode, but not the first two?
Well, to my understanding, this episode pushed a very hard heterosexual agenda. You have this Joel test themes undercurrent throughout the whole thing. And it's ridiculous, and people are getting really offended because it was kind of overriding the main story.
That's disgusting. I mean, look, they keep putting that stuff ahead of plot, ahead of story, ahead of character, and you're just nobody cares about your straight relationship.
It is.
I'm quite frankly tired of the heterosexuals pushing their agenda.
Mm-hmm. Really upsetting.
Hey, as a heterosexual, I feel I'm overrepresented. It's come on, guys. Can we diversify? For the love of God.
Are they trying to teach children about this? About heterosexuality? That's fucked up.
I mean, straight people can marry now, so what else do they want?
Yeah. You got all the rights. You're good. Well, butter my pickle. Turf Nation actually has already did 2 great videos covering Last of Us 2, the video game. So it's definitely worth checking out his channel. Crawling Chaos.
Probably worth doing that rather than us giving spoilers of the second game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I haven't played it, so I actually couldn't give you anything on it. I know there was a big hubbub over it.
I know vaguely why they hate it. I mean, why? Yeah, I kind of know.
Well, I saw Turf's videos, so I actually have a good idea. But I
tampons.
I haven't played it myself.
It's because of tampons. Yeah.
Deal. Yeah. I guess we could go over kind of quickly what our immediate thoughts were on that episode.
Yeah. I pretty much agree with Chaos. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at too. I thought it was beautiful. It was not an episode I expected. It went in a direction I really didn't think it would go in, and I loved it. At the beginning, I kind of didn't like Bill at all, and then by the end, it almost had me in tears of how.
No, it legit had me in tears. I don't remember the last time a show made me fucking cry, and it did a couple of times. Really, it was just part of it was just the fucking beauty of the relationship and the performances, fucking just fantastic. But then, of course, the ending as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I think it's a risky move when you divert from the main plot of any show. So I think it was smart to put it this early because it sets his stall out.
Yeah, so that means they can do it more. They can hopefully, do another, kind of diversion story that ties into the main story. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because there used to be a time when we watched TV where the next episode had nothing to do with the previous episode, and people accepted that just fine. So,
what it reminded me of a little bit was Lost. How Lost would do a flashback that somehow ties into the current ongoing story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hello, Van Thomas. Charles, did you see the episode? What were your thoughts?
Tampons.
Yeah. Well, that's the second most controversial part, apparently. And I'm not joking.
No, it was great. Everything I've had a bit of a back and forth with people on both Twitter and YouTube. That the episode was brilliant, just absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, we will be going over some bad videos. Well, I don't know if they're bad. They look bad. We can probably guess why, but we'll
based on the thumbnail for Geeks and Gamers, I'm thinking it must have really had an effect on him, right? Oh, not that.
Yeah, I think he must have loved it. Yeah, that clearly shows a very well balanced, well thought out.
Everything
idea.
is gay.
Yeah. Well, he's saying that in the positive light, just like, yay, everything's gay. I'm happy because everything's gay. That's
one of the popular art. Go ahead, Dean.
Well, his original thumbnail, if I may, Bob. But this one?
Go for it.
Yeah, like I said on Twitter, man, it was a really powerful episode. I was not expecting that, but like, hey, I'll take it. Like, it got through. It broke through his barrier, and yeah. Never mind, I'm too late. I did it after you showed the real one, so.
Yeah, no, it's still a great. Like, I think I retweeted that on Twitter, and the number of people who are just like, I had to double check that, and now I have to ban Geeks and Gamers from my thing. It's like. Of course they didn't do that.
Yeah, I like that they used Brokeback Mountain in the thumbnail, which I guess signaled to their many idiot hive mind to preach about Brokeback Mountain, because I literally got into a discussion with somebody who said it's just like Brokeback Mountain. It's bad writing, and then I had to ask them, you mean the same Brokeback Mountain that won an Oscar for best screenplay? that bad writing? Is that what you're talking about? And then they stopped talking and deleted their comment. So it's kind of interesting.
Well, I think it was
bad
very
writing.
Inconsiderate. It was inconsiderate of you to talk facts with him. Why would you go after him with facts? That's ridiculous.
Bad writing. What is that code word for?
Oh, it's for whenever pseudo intellectuals want to pretend they're not talking about something that they would call woke. We did a whole episode on it once. It was fun.
Well, I guess, are we ready to dive into this Geeks and Gamers video?
Everything's gay.
That's how I feel too.
Bob threatened to fire us off from the initiative if we didn't come on here.
True. These guys are all here at gunpoint. You know, they're here because they're my friends.
Yep. We're your friends, Bob. We think you're great.
Well, he's paying me.
Oh.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a check for this. I'm officially Access Media now.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
The enemy.
Dude, I will give you guys all checks. They're out-of-state third-party bad checks, but you can all have them. All right, let's see what Jeremy Griggs says.
The Last of Us Episode 3 happened last night, and it's going exactly how you would expect a project with Neil Druckmann or Neil Cuckman involved. Now,
do we want to comment on that or just ignore how stupid?
I don't know what he's even referring to. I don't know about these guys.
Well, I mean, he just called the guy cuck, and I just thought that was like.
Oh, I thought I actually assumed that was probably his name, so he purposely was forced. Okay. Yay.
Yeah, it sounds like he's getting Nerdrotic to write his jokes for him.
What a zinger.
Now, there's a couple of different ways that I want to approach this, because Episode 3 in its own right, I thought was somewhat entertaining. But when you actually look at the people behind it and you look at the agenda that they're trying to push.
Oh my God.
So the show is good, but when you think about who made it, that's where it's not good.
Well, I think we could stop the video there. He said it's entertaining. So thumbs up, 2 thumbs up from Jeremy Griggs.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge the media based on its own merits. I'm going to judge it based on the people who make it. What type of take is that? That is.
Why is he even watching it? If he if he doesn't, did he mention the people behind it before this episode? That's what I'm curious about right now.
Yeah, I am kind of curious about that one.
He's so invested in this show that he didn't bother doing a review for episode 2.
Oh.
Which is interesting.
Then you understand that this is not about just telling a story.
Okay. I'm sorry, but like,
yes, it is. Yeah.
And he knows that. That's why, like, this is very obviously just like undeniably a fucking good story and a well-written story and a fucking powerful story with great characters. And so that's why he has to do well, it's not about that really. Yeah, I wonder if he's ever, I don't know. Sorry, this is your stream. I don't know. I'm just let it play.
Yeah, you're fine. Story that's going to benefit the overall story. This is about Neil Cuckman pushing the agenda that he couldn't push when he originally made The Last of Us because it wasn't universally acceptable like it is now. And
so, the Bill character was gay in the game.
Yep.
You see, I don't know the game, but I also kind of don't care.
I looked into it. It was only like mostly alluded to, and you kind of learn about Frank. That he like got infected at one point and hung himself or something. So he didn't, so like it was much more tragic, oddly, because it was pretty tragic. But yeah, it was, they didn't really get to live a whole life together, and Bill went crazy and shit. So,
well, based on what he said about it not being acceptable to be in the game when that came out, I'm assuming the game came out in 1950s, 1960s. Is that right?
Yeah.
When it wasn't acceptable to have gay characters and things.
What was it? 2016 the original came out?
13 or 14, I think.
And so just in less than 10 years, now it's universally accepted, except he's talking negatively about it, so it's not universally accepted.
Well, if Cuckman wanted to have his LGBTQ agenda, you would think he'd keep those characters alive for more than one episode.
Well, I mean, also, why are they pushing an agenda if it's just accepted? It's not an agenda. It's just depicting things that
absolutely.
People expect.
Yeah, no, they're pushing politics just by acknowledging gay people exist. It's infuriating. And I'll go ahead and say this. Like, I kind of, like, I'm sure the game is great. I don't want to dish on the game. But from the standpoint of someone who's just watching this show, I kind of don't care about the game. I just want to see the story as the show tells it to me. And so far, like this last episode knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. I thought the first one was fairly solid. The second one's fine. And then like this last one just fucking blew it away. And like whatever game or whatever the story told in the game, I kind of don't care because I just love the story it's doing right now in this show.
It was in the game. It was more just like the background for a level, basically. So like the level that you had to go to their house and you go trying to get help from Bill and Frank, but then you find that Bill's even crazier than before because he's lost Frank, and so it's just like you have to achieve something, and it's the story built around trying to achieve that. Which it was in the show, but they just focused more on the actual story of the characters.
Jesus Christ is Alive was never trending for me yesterday on Twitter. So I think that's kind of interesting that he has Jesus Christ is Alive trending in his little what's happening.
Oh God, that's interesting. I never saw that either.
I mean, plus I hate to spoil it, but no, he's not.
Yeah, Easter's
spoilers,
in a couple of weeks.
He famously did die.
And he would tolerate all of this too, by the way. Jesus, big fan of anti-woke shit. Big fan.
He'd be like, yeah, call him cuck. That's great, my son.
Yeah, you mixed cuck into his name. That's clever.
Did you hear that, Dad? He called him cuck.
So back then, he left subtle hints as to the relationship between Bill and Frank because he couldn't go full-blown Brokeback Mountain like he did.
So couldn't go.
My God.
Citation needed. Like couldn't go. He couldn't go. Where are you getting this information from, Jeremy Griggs?
So also he does acknowledge that they were in a homosexual relationship within that game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they couldn't go, to use his words, the full Brokeback Mountain because that was less acceptable to a video game playing audience at the time, and now it's not.
Mhm.
And so that's an agenda.
Yep.
Apparently.
I'm pretty sure that it's not an agenda once something is accepted already. You know, it's like, I don't know. They're trying to push a people should use cars agenda or something. It's like, wait,
plus, other than GTA, what game like this has like romance as a feature of the gameplay?
Well, interestingly, Mass Effect does, and that's from 2004, the original, and that has the option for a lesbian romance relationship, and then the sequel has both gay and lesbian relationship options. So
lesbian is not
two
gay.
chicks is hot, bro.
No, I mean they don't even say that anymore. Honestly, like I was making the joke a while back when they were talking about I don't remember what it was. It was like a lesbian thing, and they're like, "Oh, it's woke and pushing it." And it's like, man, when I was in high school, we would rent like Wild Things and Cruel Intentions, fucking rewind the scenes where their girls are kissing. You know what I mean? And like, oh yeah, like that lesbians were hot.
Beginning.
Like,
yeah, but you only.
I guess that's not lesbians, but
you only rewatch those scenes to point out that was how Satan gets into your brain.
Yeah. You want to talk about tough though? These guys have gotten so ideologically fucking warped that even just women doing it is not even hot to them anymore. That's like
yeah. So they're pushing this heterosexual agenda. They've been doing it for so many decades. It's obnoxious, and
did in this episode. But then you have to.
And let's look at the tweet here, can we?
Sure.
So the news. HBO Last of Us adaptation is a milestone for LGBT gamers. They spoke to NBC News, said that the third episode of the series, focusing on a queer romance, gave them hope for the future of video games. Well, okay. But how does that come from that?
Because they always overblow this shit. God damn. Like, you downplay the accusations against them. Yeah. The whole goal is to make like whatever this like the whole article is just trying to say, hey, they're doing LGBTQ representation. Isn't that great? He needs to downplay that as much as possible.
Yeah, like I love marginalized communities having hope, and then him just not in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same vibe as like, oh, the stunning, so stunning and brave meme.
Yeah, just let them. Yeah, let them have their hope. What do you have to fucking make a big stink about it for? Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he's like this all the time? Like if he's with his parents and his mother says, "Oh, I hope it doesn't rain today," and then when it doesn't rain, he says, "Well, there you go, Mom. Lives were saved because you hoped it wouldn't rain."
No, we know he's not.
God, I hope so.
If someone says something about you said this, so that means so just. Like he'll do the exact opposite, the inverse of what he's doing in this case to defend himself or any other right-wing shit. Like they downplay anything that is just an accurate analysis of what's going on with the right. And yeah, it's fucking so disingenuous. All right.
To ask yourself, why did he do it in this episode, and how did this episode benefit the overall story? So again, there's two different ways to look at this. Did I think that they did a good job telling the story in this episode? Sure. It was fine. I mean, for an isolated individual story, that's fine. But
I think what's
the problem?
What the hell? Yeah. What's his issue?
I think what's important to focus on maybe is that how they are wise enough at this point to know that they generally, or at least he is in this case, shouldn't be like, "Oh, gays are gross," even though we know that's the underlying thing. So they have to, they create this kind of false framework for a logical reason why it doesn't make sense that they did it. You know what I mean? And they will do this every example. They'll find some new bullshit angle to approach it from. That it may even contradict something they've said before, but they just know they can't. It's not quite okay to just come out and say, "Oh, gays are gross."
What is locals? I have to. Under Twitch, it says locals.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm actually kind of surprised he doesn't have like a Rumble on there, because I think
like
guys will
his
have like Rumble
Grindr
and Truth
account
Social on here.
Like,
yeah, I don't know. We
I've
have
never
some
heard of that.
researchers. I don't know if one of them can get on that.
I don't research shit. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually what we're doing right now. Wait, was I not supposed to say that? Or
No, nothing.
Why are you telling and using an entire episode to tell this story?
Because it's a good story. That's exact the thing that they always say, that we just want good story.
I mean, he seems to be ignoring what television is for. Why are they using episodes of a TV show to tell a story? It's baffling.
Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you like use an episode to sell ice products or something? Why are we telling a story with this? I mean, because I feel the show should have been the focus.
The show is called Joel and Ellie. It's not called The Last of. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, by his logic, they shouldn't have had that 1968 prologue. The clip where it was Indonesia, where the scientist is like, "Well, bomb everything." Like,
every episode has had like a flashback, and
with the exception of this, prologue.
Well, this one does, Well, this one, like, I was expecting one, but this one just went right into Joel and Ellie. And then we essentially get the flashback later, and we see the whole story with Bill and Frank. And
my God!
Yeah.
Why can he not have a regular Patreon?
Because they let him get away with stuff probably that Patreon doesn't.
Patreon's much more willing to ban stuff than or YouTube.
Wow.
About two gay characters. Would this episode have made any sense if this was about two straight characters that had nothing to do with the overall story?
Yes.
It wouldn't even have been.
Yeah.
But it did have something to do with the overall story.
Yeah, how did he miss that? It was a big part of the story, how he's trying to get like a battery and a vehicle.
Yeah.
That's fuck.
Bill and Frank were brought up in both episodes leading up to this. This is like television.
This was the culmination of their journey in the first two episodes, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like, have you never watched a television series before?
It's possible he hasn't.
We're only a minute and a half into this, and he's already just said like 23 stupid things. And just,
well, it's like you said, Dane. Like Lost would do stuff like this all the time.
Mm-hmm. And there was actually several episodes of Lost that really didn't have anything to do with the overall story. And it was just like, we got to fill these 25 episodes somehow.
Yeah.
And this, like, it had to do with the overall story.
Right.
It had to do with it.
And it ran parallels to the relationship that Joel not only had with Tess, but that he is now taking on with Ellie. Like, fucking.
And then they dovetailed at the end. And like,
yeah.
Yeah, no, there's that great like note, the note that Bill leaves him saying, "Hey, you need to make sure to protect Tess." And you realize, not only is it like kind of breaking his heart to read that, but also like, well, he's not reading it, Ellie's reading it, but also the realization that essentially, kind of substitute Ellie in that Tess role. Now he has to protect Ellie.
You know what? Actually, I figured it out. Considering what we knew about Bill before he met Frank, I mean, everything that we've seen, like in his basement and everything, I think Jeremy here is pissed because he probably lost one of his viewers because, big gun toting, don't tread on me, flag flying Bill, who probably was a local supporter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he probably had a locals account.
I'm guarantee we're going to see somebody that's going to add that as a part of the complaint. Look, and then they make him a right winger too, just to fucking piss us off or trigger. You know what I mean? That somebody's going to mention that as doing it just to upset them, rather than a nuanced character trait.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was done so Neil Cuckman and Naughty Dog can push their bullshit agenda. Now, I know that a lot of people...
Is it an agenda or is it just universally accepted? Pick one.
People that are going to see me reacting.
I was just gonna say, now that I know that it's Neil Druckmann, the Cuckman's pissing me off.
Well, he's about to.
It's witty.
He's about to address us. He's about to address us because he said, "I know some people watching are gonna, and let's see how much foresight he has."
To this and see the headline are going to say, oh, Jeremy's just intimidated by gay characters, yada yada yada. It's so stupid because these people don't have a working brain, because they think that everything is something to be fake offended over. Every single thing that somebody has, every opinion.
What videos are we watching?
Are you guys offended? I'm not offended.
Seems like he's offended.
Clearly,
Why do these alt-writers project so fucking hard?
Every accusation is a confession with them.
Yeah, it is. Like, dude, he's talking about, that they're going to think we're going to get triggered by this episode. Then why are you making this video? Why don't you just make this video and say, hey, this is a great story. I love the relationship. It was great. Good job, guys. And then end the video.
Yeah, you probably watched that on your woke Xbox. That's why.
He literally says at the beginning he found the episode entertaining. Then he goes on to say there's nothing wrong with the episode itself, and then he goes on to say a lot of people are going to be fake outraged over this. And it's like, it seems like you're kind of fake outraged over it.
Yeah, not only that in the video, but then you look at the tweet that he's showing on screen, and if anyone has a fucking agenda here, it's pretty clear who it is. Why is he also tweeting about this tangential thing related to the show? You know what I mean? He doesn't give a shit about the show, the content of the show, only in the sense that it's absolutely maddening. And no wonder he doesn't do debates anymore or talk to people, because he could not fucking sustain any of the bullshit he's saying for any length of time. He would absolutely fucking crumble after a few questions, challenging the lack of consistency.
They all are. It's just a power save feature.
Yeah, it's so woke. But he would not do well. Like the little bit we've seen of him debating, it's like, well, these are just like the views other people have. And it's like, well, fucking stand up for your own views.
He pretty much admits in that one debate with Southpaw that he just does things for the clicks. Implicitly that's what it comes to.
And you've talked to Geeks and Gamers guys who essentially say the same thing. It's like, why do people take what these guys say seriously? Their word means nothing at all, because by their own admission.
To them, they don't really care about the truth or anything, or honestly, it's just like our team scored a point. That's really it. And
it's Geeks and Gamers, not morons and movies. So what the hell would he know about storytelling to begin with if he's specializing in geek and gamerdom? I mean, it really the app name, and I have a label I've made for it. I've taken their logo and made a Chuds and Bigots. Pretty good.
Which is accurate. Okay, we're almost halfway. We can do this, guys.
I don't know if we can.
Whatever. But now you see the mainstream using this episode, and now this is a victory for all gamers, ladies and gentlemen. Now,
let's see.
Based, yes, cool.
Well, I mean, okay, even
all gamers.
Yeah, where does it say that?
Sure.
It says LGBTQ gamers.
Jeremy Griggs
without a very specific
hyperbole challenge 2023.
No, they say shit like this, and it's like, okay, cool. If that's how you want to read it, cool. Based, cool. It's a victory for all.
The words
gamers.
are still on the screen. Like he's contradicting the words that are on the screen.
Yep, he's taken it. It's just this is not this, and then this is not what he just said. It's fucking absurd. And I do think it is. If LGBTQ people feel like this is a step forward, then I do concur that it's generally a good thing for gamers and games and society.
Absolutely.
But that's for him to jump from what it says to that is just, once again, it's projecting his fucking insecurity and downplaying. Everything he's doing is to downplay it. It's like, this is hard cope for what is objectively a good fucking episode of television, and he's trying his best to do damage control.
He even front loaded it with that compliment. Just
well, that's so that he can say that, you know, if anybody says, "Oh, he's just saying no," because I said I liked it. It's like it's just having his fucking, you know, foot in two different positions when really it's obvious what his real position is.
Yeah.
And another thing, context for this is that they already hate Naughty Dog. They've hated them since Last of Us 2, I think, because of you know, I have an image here of a KKK outpost. He's wearing a hoodie that says "Fuck Naughty Dog." So they already have
that's just a personal preference for him, though.
An agenda. It's clear who the agenda here is.
Bill and Frank being hinted at, or Bill being hinted at as being a gay character in the original Last of Us. That didn't save lives. But this episode, this is the most important episode in the history.
Hinted at.
Look at that sass he's using, though, guys.
Yeah. Literally, what we are seeing is an article, and all it is saying is HBO's Last of Us adaptation is a milestone for LGBTQ gamers. LGBTQ gamers who spoke with NBC News said third episode of the series focusing on a queer romance gave them hope for the future of video games. That's all he's shown, and that's in theory what he's responding to. And he's talking about it as if it's like, you know, they're trying to say it's some sort of revolutionary thing, like it's changing the world. And, you know, I would actually make the argument that you know, this is like a baby step in the right direction. We need a lot more of them.
Yeah, it might be playing a role. Like maybe in the future we can look back and go, that was a moment. But like, yeah, this
thing by itself isn't changing the world, but like, it's not bad. It's a
better step than Disney's given themselves back. You know,
and they still freak out over Disney stuff.
Look, there's somebody out of focus who kissed. Oh, okay.
I have to agree with him here, though. He's indicating that idiots are saying that this is the most important moment in human history and that lives were saved. And I agree with him. Idiots are saying that.
He's right.
It's very clear on the screen.
I mean, Bob, the upload of this maybe should say, "Look, Jeremy Griggs was right," or something. And you know, nice. Idiots are saying this.
Yeah. It's a self-report. Almost everything.
In the history of humanity, ladies and gentlemen, you see NBC News right here. HBO's The Last of Us adaptation is a milestone for LGBTQ gamers. Where's the IA and the plus? They didn't get involved in this one.
Oh, for the love of fuck.
Jesus Christ. You know, sometimes they just short to LGBT, and, you know, it's kind of the same thing.
I mean, it is like, the same.
Well, not only not only that, but don't the I it's the I stands for intersex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the A stands for asexual. So, in a way, this is a milestone specifically for LGBTQ gamers.
Yeah,
because there's no asexual representation.
Well, I mean, I think that's being a little too technical in defense of it when it's just like not necessary because like
it's just a stupid thing
LGBTQ to say, is a benefit for all, really. You know, it just depends on how many. As long as it isn't just stopped at LGB, then it's that's when it's a problem. There's actually an organization called LGBT Alliance. They are fucking trans exclusionary pieces of shit. So just look out for that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Look how mad. He's so mad.
What he's pissed at is that he is actually personally pissed that the IA plus was not represented.
Yeah, he's very concerned.
He wanted to see in the show. He
Asexuals really are trying to champion any type of romance scenes in anything they watch.
The asexual romance scenes are hot.
Well, I mean, let's not get off on bagging on asexuals though, because the asexuals
no, I don't mean a disrespect.
They don't necessarily not have sex. By the way, that's kind of a
true.
No, they do. Sometimes
I consider myself demisexual, to be honest.
Okay.
So it's not too far off.
Me too. I mean, and I just learned about it not too long ago. A friend of mine came out as asexual a couple of years ago, and then she realized it's like more gray sexual, where she can have physical attraction. It's just super rare. It's not something, you know what I mean? That type of thing. So it's a spectrum like most things, and These guys really struggle with that. Everything's got to be stark black and white, or it frightens and intimidates them. I'm just a caveman lawyer.
Your ways confuse me.
It's just like, all right, well, you're gonna go to bat for LGBTQIA plus is
demisexual. So is like your physical is not the priority in attraction. Like it's important, but you would need more of an emotional and kind of intellectual connection with somebody in order to even have that physical attraction to a degree that you would.
Okay. That's what I was thinking it was, and I think
there needs to be an established relationship. One night stands aren't really a demisexual thing.
Yep. Well, I mean, I used to have them when I was younger, and then I would wonder why I felt like shit the next day. Like I feel terrible. Yeah. You gotta turn on my mind, baby. All right.
This wasn't a milestone for them. LGBTQ gamers who spoke with NBC News said the third episode.
I love how every time they read something like this, they have to do it with such a fucking. It's just dripping with this fucking mockery, and it's like, dude, if you have to read it that way, then the words aren't doing the job that you feel like they should on their own, right?
Well, it's all about manipulating the story, as if and the whole idea is kind of be like, they're trying to conquer the world with this, just basic representing of human rights, I guess.
Ugh,
it drives me nuts. I know.
Silly. I can't believe that they. Oh, yeah. And they want to act like everybody else is offended. Think about how the goddamn he's fucking maddening because he's like you said, front loading it with I thought it was good, but then he threw in there because they're gonna watch this and say that blah blah blah, and they're gonna be they're so offended by everything, and it's like it's not only just projection, he's implanting into his audience's minds to aim. Sorry, I can't even formulate what I'm trying to say right now because it's frustrating. You get what I'm saying?
He's like Jeremy Griggs,
putting everything on others, even though he's the one that's very clearly fucking upset about this.
They're gonna act like I'm really upset about this. Then why are you making this video? Prove them wrong. Don't make this fucking video.
Is this not an upset face? Look at this. He looks like fucking Vigo from Ghostbusters 2.
Now Vigo would look at this and be like, "That was a pretty good episode. You're kind of cringe. I don't want to associate with you. I'm just going to conquer the world over here."
I think Vigo had eyebrows, actually.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Episode of the series focusing on queer romance.
Oh my God.
He's doing the thing.
Can you clip back?
Like I don't think he went full fled. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if there's anything that worth clipping in this in this read.
The third episode of the series, focusing on queer romance, gave them hope for the future of video games. This is nonsense. Now this is why this episode existed.
Why is it nonsense, Jeremy Griggs?
Oh, I just want to say fuck you, Jeremy Griggs. Just fuck you.
Just fucking. But I'd love to know any reason why he thinks it's nonsense. Like, what is the substantive evidence for him to say it doesn't make any sense? Because it makes sense to plenty of people, as he said earlier in the fucking video. It's universally accepted. You know what I mean? So, like, how is it nonsense if it's something that people are cool with?
Well, just on a fundamental, I will use the word objective point of view, NBC News did speak to LGBTQ gamers, and that's what they said. That's factually accurate. It's not nonsense. They said that. That's their opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but it's nonsense, right? How's it? It's not sensical. No.
And this is something that he had to go out and find. There's no way that if you look at his feed and what's trending, there's no Last of Us, NBC News, LGBTQ article. He's got Jesus Christ is Alive trending.
It's pretty. I'd be willing to put a lot of money on the fact that they have some, whether it's Discord or something, group chat, whatever, where they share the trending topics early in the morning. Somebody's sharing it for them, and they're getting here's some articles that either support what you want to say or to mock, like this one. Like there's some kind of operation like that going on, and I can say that without any real evidence, just because of how smooth the fucking operation of these channels goes. Maybe it's a conspiratorial of me, but
actively seeking out shit to be angry about is just so unhealthy.
If there's not actually a news story from like NBC or something, they'll find tweets with like 2 likes. And they'll do the same thing, and it's like,
as if you can't find an egregious example of anything on the internet, and they'll be like, "Oh, look, this is what the left wants," and it's like some 3-follower Andy. Yeah.
So again, you can look at this episode and think it was fine and entertaining, and
like you do, Jeremy?
You did, yeah,
yeah.
I do appreciate like certain perspectives you get from the apocalypse and that feel or whatever. But when you
whatever,
man, whatever.
Look at why did this episode actually happen? It happened so that Neil Cuckman can push his bullshit. That's all this happened for. Because again, if you take that story, this story of The Last of Us, and you have this random thing that was hinted at in the original Last of Us, a relationship between a man and a woman, would you have got a full episode out of
it? Was
I mean, it's a little more than hinted at in the game from what I understand, but also this is a television show adaptation, and they're going to need to fill out the story elements more than the game even did. I understand that the game is very story focused, and a lot of people admire it, and I'm sure I would too, but still I doubt that it's enough to sustain a fucking television show without filling it out some more.
Well, I mean, even by his own admission, it was good. Like, by his own admission, it was well done. So what is your complaint, Jeremy? Just if you think the episode was good, then your only complaint is literally that there's gay people. There's terms for people who complain about that.
And all of that.
Is it a geek or a gamer?
Gamer. No. I mean, gamer's not too far. All of that bullshit he said at the beginning before he even really got into, or hasn't even gotten into the show, no. But like a lot of the shit he was saying about, I liked it, blah, blah, that's all to pad himself from the accusations of that he's just homophobic. So like it's all built in to the quote unquote criticism is it's not that. It's the same thing as like, I don't care if 2 guys are gay, but why do they have to kiss out in public in front of me or something? You know what I mean? Like, then you have the problem with them being gay. That's what it is. They have to, these fucking bigots, man. And that's what he is. He's a fucking bigot. They always have these warped fucking attempts at justification because they know it's not socially acceptable to be fucking openly hateful.
But he is absolutely. Jeremy, if you want to prove me wrong, you can always come talk to me. Yep. Maybe you will blow my mind with your logic. You won't, but maybe you will. Maybe you will. Maybe.
I mean, look at that face. That's the face of a man who puts a lot of thought into his views right there. He's so fucking like he legit looks puzzled by reality or something.
That no, because it doesn't complement the story at all.
Sure does.
That's why so many people are frustrated.
It literally, like Charles has pointed out, it complements the story very fucking well. It told the story of what's going on with Joel and Ellie without them even being on screen for most of the episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Powerless nuance, things that people who are educated in film would know.
I'm not educated in film, and I can fucking spot that stuff. He's just a fucking moron.
That both are true.
Things that not morons can spot.
Rated with all of this because Neil Cuckman continuing to push his bullshit agenda. Now, it gets better for The Last of Us because now there are hints. I guess there's reports that we're going to get The Last of Us season 2. The Last of Us season 2 will cover the events of The Last of Us Part 2. So that means we're going to get Big Abby Pump is your hookup. Holla if you hear me.
Woof.
So I didn't understand any of the words he just said.
That's the problem they had with The Last of Us 2 was, one of them is her. There was a lot of transphobic jokes being made about that, accusations and stuff, because women can't have muscly arms, I guess, and there's no such thing as a woman who's not dainty and especially in a fucking 20 years after the apocalypse, there would just be no women who have like decided to fucking.
What happens if they cast Gina Carano in that part? Like,
I was just thinking that. I was thinking,
oh no!
Does he have a stroke? What?
I don't know what to do. I can't compute. Yeah, Gina Carano's just like, I can't. God, these right wingers make me no money. I need to do something woke. I mean,
I don't know, Archmage. It's just a word we heard one time. It seems smart, so we say it. Jesus Christ! I want to hear that again. I'm sorry.
Of The Last of Us Part 2. So that means we're going to get Big Abby Pump. Is your hookup? Holla if you hear me.
Okay, so we're going to need that holla if you hear me part, I believe.
Sure.
With his hands on his hips like that and leaning forward, for sure. That's in league with Slay Queen. But you know why? The thing is they're always going after the spikes that they've hit in the past in terms of algorithm spikes, which has been Ghostbusters, fucking Captain Marvel, Last Jedi, The Last of Us 2 is one of those handful of just like they got a lot of traction on that shit, so they're going to mention that any chance they get.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just love it if Gina Carano was like, "Oh, this Daily Wire stuff's not making me money, so I'm going to make a Ghostbusters reboot."
Oh God. Oh God. Oh man, that'd be great.
And that means that Joel Pedro Pascal, I guess, is going to get a golf club to the face. I really hope they cast Scott Steiner. I've seen.
Yeah. Spoiler.
I mean, everybody's already spoiled it for me already, but like, we actually don't even know if it will be season 2. Yeah, it seems like they're going to lead up to that. But like, they could always just do the first game and then just like add seasons 2 before they get to the second.
True.
I've been told that they split the second game into 2 seasons.
Do they only plan on doing 3 seasons? Then?
All the
no,
biggest are going to be a.
So here he goes preempting the criticism, the justified criticism again.
Upset now because they're actually adapting the game. No, I'm actually happy about this. I really, really hope that they cast Scott Steiner in this role as Abby. And I
see
the fuck
he knows that he's presenting an opening to be seen as inconsistent. So what he's doing is deflecting with some little bit of transphobia, basically. Fucking Christ, man.
I mean, it's not like she's huge anyway. I mean, just because she's bigger than him, but he's what, 100 pounds soaking wet?
I actually have something related to this we can look at when this is over if you want. Just a very quick clip that from a little movie perp that it really complements this really well, actually.
I would love to see Scott Steiner just put a golf club right to Pedro Pascal's Joel's head. That would be fantastic, because I don't have a vested interest in this other than to tell you exactly what I think. I watched the first episode and I liked it, and I made a video and I point blank said,
I don't have a vested interest in it except to tell you exactly what I think. So I watch it.
If I don't have a vested interest, why am I making this video?
So I'm assuming he must have ads turned off on this video, right? No, we watched one.
Yeah, obviously.
There was an ad.
Oh, wait, you're right. You're
he
right.
Literally has a vested interest in talking about this.
Also, he didn't tell us what he thought of the episode beyond it was entertaining. So he spent most of the time talking about a news article. Yeah. What does he think about what NBC News said about this show? Is that what people
he'll
are asking
tell you
for?
that in a cringeworthy, high-pitched voice, and it'll be great.
said, hey, I was wrong based on this first episode. The second episode, people like the second episode. And now here we are, the third episode. I don't know what the overall consensus is. I think generally speaking, if you're actually just looking at this episode as an individual story, I think it's fine. But when you're looking at the bigger picture as to why did this even happen?
Okay, look, it's setting aside the gay relationship. If it was a straight relationship and it was exactly the same, everything else is the same, and he were to say, and still were to say that that's fine, then he's not worth listening to in terms of like what he thinks of stories and because just like aside from sexuality, it was a fucking phenomenal story. Phenomenal fucking performances. Characters you just met for the first time, and then by the end you're fucking heartbroken. To just call this fine, it should be enough to discredit him as like a media, someone who criticizes media at all, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, we're all allowed our own opinions, and I guess Jeremy's allowed his shitty opinion, which is exactly what it is.
He's no vested interest. This is the face of a man with no vested interest in what he's talking about.
Yeah. That's why he didn't make this video, because he has no vested interest. So he didn't even make a video. I don't know how we're even watching this. This is a video that was never made.
I actually am kind of surprised that he's even saying it's fine, except that he's probably only doing that as a cushion from accusations that he just hates gay people.
And then it's clear to see that this was Neil Cuckman just doing what he couldn't do back then, because it's not about breaking down barriers. It's not about, giving proper representation. It's about these weirdos were never brave enough to do it when it.
What the fuck is he talking about?
So it's
what
not
you're only.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so it's only worth doing if it's breaking down barriers, and I'm sure he won't complain about it if they said that was the sole goal of this. I'm sure he'd be like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things they do is they do the fake. They're not doing it for the right reasons thing. And it's like,
but what's the agenda then? If the agenda isn't to break down barriers or representation, what's the agenda?
The agenda must just be to tell a good story. I don't know. What is the agenda, Jeremy? God damn, dude. He's so all over the place. Really, thank you, Ryan. Because if the agenda is not to do what he just said they're not doing, then what is the fucking agenda?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
We almost got it. We got 30 seconds.
I know. And he's just said the same thing like 7 times in this episode, in this video, by the way. Neil Cuckman agenda.
Wasn't unpopular, but now that it's trendy, now they're going to jump on the bandwagon because we're dealing with cowards, people like Naughty Dog and.
So the implication of that statement is that if they had. Dude, it's fucking incomprehensible. It's
Neil Druckmann are cowards. So we'll see how this all plays out moving forward, but you're going to see more articles like this, and this is the bigger problem with it, and this is exactly why it happens, so that agenda can be pushed, and then articles from the mainstream can happen like this.
So is it breaking barriers? Is it...
So is he mad at the episode, or is he mad at the articles talking about the episode?
I don't
even understand what the point is of like digging up random like articles that you're gonna get pissed at. Because like lots of shit gets published on the internet. You'll find something to get pissed about. Talk about the episode.
He just spoke nonstop for nearly 6 minutes, and I am more confused about what he's actually trying to say than before we started the video.
And then you can call everyone a bigot that has any criticism whatsoever. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much.
What is your criticism? Your criticism is that there is a bad article about it. Number one, I don't even know if this is a bad article. You have one fucking paragraph. It tells me nothing. But even if I'll give you, okay, the article's bad. What does it have to do with fucking anything, bro? Oh my God.
Well, I spotted something at the end there. He said they're only doing it so that anyone who criticizes it can be called a bigot, but he liked it. So they only put So they put the gay stuff in to make it critic proof, but it's still a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm equally as lost as what the agenda is. If it's not representation, and it's not breaking barriers, what is it? Yeah. Are they jumping on the bandwagon? Is that the agenda? Making something that will be popular? Because
they're cowards and they're doing something that you know what? Maybe we should just literally write out, go through this tomorrow. I don't know, and write out each point that he makes and try to fucking make sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'll break it down.
I wouldn't be surprised if the LGBTQ community held Mr. Druckmann by gunpoint and made him put this.
He was like, I really don't want to. I want this to be a straight relationship, and they said no. It has to be gay. He's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's a coward.
We'll get Nick Offerman do a great job. We'll get
two men, hairy chests, kiss for at least 6 seconds. Or else the bunny gets it.
I mean, it's funny that he has the Brokeback Mountain thing. It's like, it doesn't have a scene like Brokeback Mountain has.
No.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. No.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. No, there's literally not. It's a good fucking movie. It's a really good.
His dog whistle's broken.
It's like he's just saying everything. Just say everything in the 6 minutes. Something's going to stick with, and that's what they do. I think we said that.
He did title it "Everything's Gay."
Yeah.
Which means he's gay. So just come out.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.